Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm very pleased today to be joined here at the Sikh Channel headquarters by Tanmanjeet Singh Dhesi MP for Slough. We will shortly be asking Tanmanjeet Singh to tell us about his plans for 2019. The year has just started and we're all back to work now, well into the new year. We've got to find out from Tanmanjeet Singh what his plans are and the various initiatives he's working on. Tanmanjeet Singh, welcome to Sikh Channel and welcome to the new year.
A pleasure. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਤਿਹ ਅਰਜ਼ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਬੇहद ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਬਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ very well done to the Sikh channel, and I know as the chairman you've been working very, very hard to make sure that the Sikh channel itself is bringing to the audience things, whether it's into the Sikh issues from around the world, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭਖਦੇ ਮਸਲੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ, that you're bringing those and long may your hard work continue.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your very kind support. Perhaps we can begin with the issue of the Afghani Sikhs. We know Afghanistan remains in some turmoil. There's been recent deaths again and bombings and so on, and there is still danger to the Sikh community there. And particularly the Sikh channel is very close to the Guru Nanak Gurdwara in Southall, where the Afghani community are very prominent. Can you tell us about your recent meeting with the Minister for Immigration?
Ji, so you very rightly have pointed out the fact that there have been more than 100 different attacks on minority communities, in particular the Sikh and Hindu communities there. We all know the devastating loss of life and the tragedy of when the entire the cream of the Sikh leadership was killed by the Taliban, by hardliners within Afghanistan, and that unfortunately was only one incident within more than 100 that have affected the community, from a community that had been in Afghanistan for centuries and more than 100,000 strong. Now there are estimated to be approximately only 300 families left.
Is that all? Is there any future for Sikhs in Afghanistan?
Well, look, that is the travesty, is that they are trying their level best to make things work within their homeland, and unfortunately there are those hell-bent on trying to get rid of them. It's a form of ethnic cleansing in essence. So we had a meeting with the Immigration Minister, Caroline Noakes. It was a meeting very ably organised by my good friend Emma Hardy, the MP for Hull, and so she coordinated efforts. During the meeting we also had other civil servants, but also representatives, as you said, from the Guru Nanak Darbar Gurdwara in Southall. So the Afghan Ekta Society, Premi Singh Ji and their team, that they were there. We also had Majinder Parkol Ji from United Sikhs. So what we discussed with the minister was those refugee Sikhs and Hindus who are currently residing within the UK who face the threat of deportation. So to try to get certainty for them. And that it wouldn't be fair.
Did you make any progress with that?
Yeah, so what the minister has assured us is that they will now look back at review their country guidance for Afghanistan, which actually is outdated because it's actually dating back to 2015. So
and the situation has changed.
Situation
it's continually changing.
Yes, very well said. And because of that continually changing situation, that's one thing that the minister has assured us. Secondly, although we tried to get some sort of undertaking so that those that are left in Afghanistan, those that want to leave, that the UK would support them. Unfortunately, we didn't have any such undertaking from the minister because, as far as a British foreign policy in terms of refugees, it's wherever those individuals are. That's they wouldn't actually try to bring them over to the UK.
Yes.
But the key thing for us was to assure the minister that look, this is a major issue, that lots of lives are impacted, and I think it was good for the minister to hear directly from NGOs, in particular the Guru Nanak Darbar Gurdwara Southall, because they are the key hub for the Afghani Sikh community.
They're the centre of the UK Afghani community.
Yes.
And often from Sikh channel we have a lot of events with them, we support them. And if there are any Afghani Sikhs who are concerned, please do get in touch with Sikh channel. We'll be happy to assist you and provide more information. So that's great. So that's
Yeah.
a great initiative, and thank you for lending your support
Yeah.
to the Afghani Sikhs across the UK.
Yes,
You've
so-
also been very closely involved with the direct flights to Amritsar, and Amritsar is the centre of the Sikh world. It's very important for Sikhs and many non-Sikhs around the world.
Yes.
And you've been leading an initiative for direct flights from the UK.
Yes.
How's that progressing?
Yeah, so you've very eloquently pointed out that Amritsar is a spiritual centre, it's a hub of the Sikh faith. And Darbar Sahib, the Golden Temple, is visited by millions of people each year. Unfortunately, the connectivity to Amritsar for those of us within the diaspora, or indeed with the tourist community, that it's not very good at all. So, since being elected, that has been one of my key aims: is to be leading on a campaign to try to make sure that we have greater connectivity. And I'm extremely thankful to those officials of the government of Air India as well that they promised.
Did you get a lot of support from Delhi?
Yes, so in 2017, they started the direct flights as promised that, during our 2017 meetings, that they would first of all start off in Birmingham, which they did within the promised 6-7 months. Then we then embarked upon trying to get greater links from London. So the latest is that while we have tried our level best in terms of the connectivity between Heathrow and Amritsar Airport, unfortunately, that hasn't quite come to fruition.
Heathrow is the busiest airport in the world.
Precisely.
So I can imagine it's quite difficult to get fixed slots.
That's it. And that's why during my first meetings when I got elected in 2017, their word to me was Heathrow, we would have to wait at least a year in order for us to do analysis. And also those slots are very expensive and there is a dearth of those slots. So I did have meetings with the Heathrow Airport Chief Executive, John Holland Kay, and others to try to...
Will there be a breakthrough this year, do you think?
I think that with the hard work of other organisations, in particular Amritsar Vikas Manch, they have been very, very good and vocal within India and abroad. And also, other parliamentarians, especially within the Punjab, but in India and abroad, that I think that we will get to the promised land in terms of more direct flights. Luton Airport, with whom I had meetings last year, they are also very, very hopeful that in the early part of this year that they want, they are very, very, keen to get those direct flights started from Luton Airport to Amritsar. But also we are continually in dialogue with other Indian airlines as well to try to get those direct flights from other airports within London as well, such as London Heathrow and London Gatwick as well.
So a lot of efforts are being made.
Yes.
And I'm sure you will be successful.
ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਈਏ ਵੀ ਦੇਖੋ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਫਗਾਨੀ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੰਭਲਾ ਮਾਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ਰਨਾਰਥੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਹੂਲਤ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਣ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਫਲਾਈਟਾਂ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਰਮਿੰਘਮ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਸੀ, ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਆਸ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਾਂ ਲੰਡਨ ਲੂਟਨ 에ਅਰਪੋਰਟ ਜਾਂ ਹੀਥਰੋ ਜਾਂ ਗੈਟਵਿਕ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਲਦ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਪੈ ਕੇ। ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, ਇਹ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਪੈ ਕੇ, I think unless you're persistent and on the case, it's not going to happen. ਬਿਲਕੁਲ।
ਐਂਡ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਕਮਿਟਡ ਹੈਗੇ। ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਚੱਕ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਪਬਲਿਸਿਟੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਪਰ ਯੂ ਆਰ ਪਰਸਿਸਟਿੰਗ which is very pleasing।
ਬਾਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੁਣ ਚੈਨਲ ਆ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਾਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਨਾਲ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਵਾਕਫ ਆ। ਯੂ ਆਰ ਫੁਲੀ ਅਵੇਅਰ that over those last few years ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਫੜ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਿਰੇ ਚਾੜ ਕੇ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਪ ਬੈਠਣਾ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਠਣ ਦੇਣਾ। ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਫੌਜੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੁੱਤ ਵੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਗ੍ਰੇਵਜ਼ੈਂਡ 'ਚ, once we got that project in 2011, ਉਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨਾਲ। ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਹ ਲਿਆ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੁੱਤ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਫੌਜੀ ਦਾ ਸਥਾਪਿਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ। ਬੁੱਤ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਲਾਇਆ ਗ੍ਰੇਵਜ਼ੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ। ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਿੱਖ ਮੈਮੋਰੀਅਲ last ਉੱਥੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਸੀ। had the pleasure of being at the launch ceremony. It's a very grand affair and it was tremendous to see the support that he had. And again, it's a huge cost to that project. How is that proceeding? Is that going to happen this year, do you think?
First of all, I'd like to thank you, for attending that launch. You, along with the Sikh Channel team, were there. You've always been very, very supportive of the National Sikh War Memorial campaign. And at the parliamentary launch, you were right that it was a historic event. Never before had so many political heavyweights of all the various political parties.
And also Sikhs from many different
and
backgrounds.
the Sikh organizations, the key
right.
Sikh organizations from across the country, they were all there as well. And Mr. Speaker, who's an institution, within the country,
Yes.
and not just in our parliament,
He's very
but
kind.
he presided,
Absolutely.
he presided over the entire launch event. And I'm also very, very thankful to Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, John McDonnell, the Shadow Chancellor, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, Sajid Javid as the Cabinet Minister, was there on behalf of the government.
I met Sajid Javid, and he was very supportive.
Yes.
He told me about his connection with Punjab and his family. He's particularly policed, and he's very supportive of the War Memorial.
Very, very true. And since then, the National Sikh War Memorial Trust, we have been working very, very hard under the chairmanship of Andrew Fain, OBE, and the entire team of trustees. Unfortunately, we've lost one key individual, Mr. Harbinder Singh Rana. I've actually attended his funeral recently as well. He, working behind the scenes, did so much great work for that, and that's a huge loss for us, I think, along with the wider Sikh community as well. But Sardar Harbinder Singh Rana होने दी बहुत वड्डी देन सी, चाहे वो नेशनल सिख वॉर मेमोरियल ਲਈ, ਚਾਹੇ ਐਂਗਲੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਰੀਟੇਜ ਟ੍ਰੇਲ, ਚਾਹੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਦਲੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੈਂਟਰੀਨਰੀ ਟਰਸਟ ਲਈ. ਸੋ ਉਹ ਘਾਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਆ. We are working very, very hard, and we are having constant meetings with government officials, with Westminster City Council, and as president of the campaign, I can assure you that that is one thing that we will definitely complete. We want to have a world-class memorial there, a statue of turban Sikh soldiers in the centre of our capital.
In terms of timescales, where are we with the timescales? Because the launch has been several months now.
Yes.
And you're very busy. You have to also look after your Slough constituents. That's very important. You have a lot of responsibilities there. And this is a national project. In terms of timescales, will it happen this year, do you think, the launch?
No, I mean, in terms of the unveiling itself, any project like this, it takes at least 2 to 3 years, because in Westminster, it is what's known as a saturation zone in terms of statues, in terms of memorials. Even if we take the Mayor of London and his team, Sadiq Khan and his team have been very, very helpful. And I want to put on record my gratitude to him and Deputy Mayor Justine Simmons, Nadeem, Ellie, the entire team. They have been very much at the forefront of this as well. And what's actually happened, even when they tried to have the statue of Millicent Fawcett, in terms of a statue for the suffragette movement as well, that those projects, it took them 2 to 3 years. And that was when they had unanimity, like we've got this time. Because everything has to be done very meticulously, because it's Westminster, because it's the centre of London.
There's procedures to be followed.
That's right.
There's protocols.
Yes.
But also, what can we do to support you? Do you need any further... I mean, you've got the permission, so there's no need for any pressure group or petitions. Is there any support you need in terms of expertise or...
No, in terms of, thank you very much for your offer of support. In terms of the online petition, by the way, we had tens of thousands of signatures. Extremely grateful. जिन्ने भी संगत ने जिन्होंने online petition भी sign ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਵੀ 40,000 ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦਸਤਖਤ ਕੁਝ ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸੀ. So very, very well done to everybody. ਜਿਹੜੀ early day motion ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਈ ਸੀ, parliament ਜਿਹੜੀ motion ਸੀਗੀ, that's the highest level of signatures for any motion for several years. So we've got a lot of support from the community as well. In terms of, at the moment, we just need to finalize some details in terms of the location, and then we can get onto the design phase.
Have you thought about a designer? Have you got an architect in mind?
That will all be done under the auspices of the National Sikh War Memorial Trust. It'll be a very transparent process, and it will be tendered to world-class sculptors. So
Please
they will be overseeing that.
Because we'd like to see the tendering process on Sikh Channel and see how the selection procedure is reviewed by yourself and the panel. That'd be interesting for the public to get involved in that.
Yeah, so working with the authorities, working with the government and Westminster Council, the Trust will ensure that everything happens to make sure that the memorial is something that the entire community can be very, very proud of. I'm also very grateful to those 15 individuals who pledged £25,000 each. So we had £375,000 at the launch event. As and when we need to go back to the community, once we've got a firm design and proposal, and the government itself has assured us that they will also be helping us both in terms of organisation but also monetarily as well. But if we need to go back to the community, then I'm sure we'll be back in touch with the likes of your good self, Mr. Bal, and others to make sure that we actually deliver on that project.
Thank you. Recently, did a Brexit is becoming more and more uncertain. Brexit ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਹੁਣ politics ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਲੋਕੀ fed up ਵੀ ਹੋ ਗਏ. A lot of people are now fed up of hearing about Brexit every day, but at the same time it's becoming more serious. ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ serious ਹੋ ਗਈ because ਕੋਈ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਮਸਲਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਵੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਹਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਵੀ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਹਲੇ ਕਲੈਰਿਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੀ।
ਉਸਤਾਦ ਦਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਇੰਨਾ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਤਾਂ ਹਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬ੍ਰੈਗਜ਼ਿਟ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਿਆ, ਪਰ ਬ੍ਰੈਗਜ਼ਿਟ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਜੋ ਯੂਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਅਖਬਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੱਕੀਏ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ TV ਚੈਨਲ 'ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਰੇਡੀਓ 'ਤੇ ਸੁਣੀਏ, ਉਹ ਬ੍ਰੈਗਜ਼ਿਟ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਮਾਂ ਲੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬ੍ਰੈਗਜ਼ਿਟ ਲੈਜਿਸਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਆ। ਪਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ 2016 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਪਈਆਂ, ਰੈਫਰੈਂਡਮ ਹੋਇਆ,
ਫੈਸਲਾ ਗਲਤ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਲੇਬਰ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਈ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਦੇਖੋ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ,
ਦੇਖੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ
ਪਰ ਅਸਲੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਉਣ 'ਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ।
ਦੇਖੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੈ, ਜੇ ਸਹੀ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਜਿੱਠਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਮਾਲੀ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਆ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਇਹ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਆ ਸਰਕਾਰ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨੋ ਡੀਲ ਆ, ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਮਝੌਤਾ ਯੂਰਪ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਰਡ ਬ੍ਰੈਗਜ਼ਿਟ ਵੀ ਨੋ ਡੀਲ ਸਿਨਾਰੀਓ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਘਾਟਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਨੇ, ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਿਸ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਧੇ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਪਾਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਯੂਰਪੀਅਨ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆ।
ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੋ ਡੀਲ ਬ੍ਰੈਗਜ਼ਿਟ ਉਹ ਡਰਾਵਾ ਆ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ। ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਇਜ਼ ਮੋਰ ਆਫ ਅ ਥ੍ਰੈਟ, ਇਜ਼ ਐਕਸਟ੍ਰੀਮਲੀ ਅਨਲਾਈਕਲੀ। And is the Prime Minister using that as a threat to get the deal through?
ਦੇਖੋ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ the threat has been coming from the Prime Minister that it's her deal or no deal। ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਧਮਕੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੋਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਟਾਕ ਐਕਸਚੇਂਜ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸਰ ਪਿਆ, ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਰੰਸੀ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ, ਆਪਣੇ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਅਸਰ ਪਿਆ ਆ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਸੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਰ ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਿਆ। The government is woeful in the sense that it's losing vote after vote. So we've actually now put down the parliamentary majority that we do not want a no deal.
Of course, but in this Brexit situation there is no winners, there is no easy solution. There's no black and white. And whilst the Conservatives are in a bit of a mess, the Prime Minister's got a real difficult job. Very nice lady, Theresa May, I've met her, very pleasant, very supportive, but she's been placed in a very difficult position. It's a poison chalice. At the same time, Labour doesn't have any good or clear solution because it's a terrible thing to deal with. The whole Brexit scenario, it's a quagmire really.
In terms of the Labour Party position, that has been consistent over the last 2 years. What we have consistently said is that, one, we want a close and collaborative relationship with the EU. We do not want a hard Brexit. We do not want a no-deal scenario. We wanted to be a part of a customs union whereby there are no tariffs.
Negotiations to carry on.
Yes, but unfortunately the red lines, the reason why the Brexit negotiations led by the Prime Minister herself, who happens to be, by the way, my neighbour in terms of we're from the neighbouring constituency, Slough and Maidenhead are right next to each other, but the reason why the government has made a complete dog's breakfast of the Brexit negotiations is because they had red lines drawn which meant that we were going to go towards this backstop. There isn't going to be any scenario that the European Union could offer us without this backstop, which now has got Northern Irish MPs in a real quandary. So the Labour Party policy has been consistent that, look, we want that close and collaborative relationship. We think that Theresa May's deal is completely useless, that we are not in favour of that because it leads to a watering down of workers' rights, of environmental protections and many of the other benefits.
Should we remain then? Would you like to see the UK remain the UK?
Well, look, for us, once we have voted down the government's deal, we will then be calling for a general election. We think that's the best way to get out of this mess, that Labour can negotiate their way with that close and collaborative relationship. If we cannot get our vision of Brexit passed through Parliament,
It's best to stay in
then
Europe.
all options are on the table, and that includes another referendum.
you.
But that's not our priority at the moment. At the
terms-
moment, we just want to get the best possible deal.
In terms of Brexit, we can see the impact it's having upon the economy.
Yeah.
The retailers are suffering, Jaguar are suffering. And how is Slough? Because Slough is an important economic area of the country. It's also a traditionally strong economy. Is the economy suffering in Slough as a result?
Well, look, as a businessman, I would have been very, very surprised if you didn't know the preeminence of Slough in terms of Slough itself, as you've rightly pointed out, is a major business and creative hub. It has got the largest singly owned trading estate in the whole of Europe. With more than 17,000 jobs in one place, more than 400 acres just for one trading estate, let alone the other businesses in the town. I think it's also because we're so close to Heathrow, the M4, M25, M40 and Crossrail, we're going to be on that very soon as well. And I'm also campaigning in terms of Slough to get the Western Rail link to Heathrow. So we're trying to get the government to have a 4-mile rail track built between Slough and Heathrow, which would benefit not only Slough constituents, but all those from across the west, from the southwest and Wales, who will then be able to go directly to Heathrow rather than having to go into London Paddington first. And they are very, very concerned about Brexit in terms of how the negotiations have been handled. They are also do not want a no deal under any circumstances. That they said that would be catastrophic for their businesses. And because Slough, which by the way has been voted the most productive town or city per capita in the entire UK.
Slough people are very hardworking.
Very hard work. So per capita, look, we've got our issues just as any other town or city has in the country, but we have been voted for the second year in a row as the best place to work and live in the entire country.
From the EU, because they're supporting the Slough economy, people from Eastern Europe and so on, and the Brexit scenario. So Brexit could impact Slough quite a lot.
Very, very well said, because whether it's the hospitality sector, whether it's the construction industry, so many industries are reliant on immigrants from across. And I think so often what is being said is that this whole debate around immigration is done in such a negative tone that the immense benefits that immigrants have brought to the country. After all, we are the sons of immigrants.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to think that we have contributed to Great Britain as well in terms of its advancement. But I think that's something which I think Eastern Europeans should not be used as a pawn, and that's something that the Labour Party, in terms of Jeremy Corbyn, Tom Watson and others, have been saying again and again. We have been against the government's initial thing about using this European Union British citizens as pawns within the negotiations, but we cannot afford for there to be a mass exodus of people from the UK, because that will have a devastating impact on our economy. And so those are the key sort of things that we've been trying. But you will know it's very, very tumultuous times in Parliament.
There's a lot of change, and I'm very pleased to say that I get your regular updates on Tanmanjeet Singh, and
good.
I'm very pleased to say that you're a very active member of Parliament across a
Thank you
huge
very much,
range of issues, whether it's health, international issues, local issues, Brexit, and so on.
Thank
and
you very
your
much. That
advocacy skills are great, and it's great to see you representing Slough and the wider Sikh community. And
thank
please
you very
do
much.
continue.
Look, as we discussed during the election campaign when the Sikh channel came to Slough in 2017, and I know we've had discussions since then as well, various interviews, I said from the outset, even when I was serving as mayor, I know you were there to cover that mayoral ceremony in Gravesham in 2015, but that I wanted to make people proud. And in 2017, I said to Slough residents and to Sikh channel viewers as well, that you'll have a hard-working MP who will take on board issues affecting Slough as well as our country, but I will not suddenly pull myself out of those issues affecting the Sikh and Punjabi communities. And that's, I have been vocal for the last 2 years on those various issues. I mean, we've discussed today not only the National Sikh War Memorial, which is a Sikh issue, whether it's Amritsar flights, whether it's a whole host of other issues that I have been vocal on in Parliament.
Absolutely.
So I'm very, very grateful to your good self and your viewers for their love and affection. And I will do my level best with sincerity to make sure that I'm working very hard for the good people of Slough and further beyond.
Thank you very much. That was Tanmanjeet Singh Dhesi, MP for Slough. You've heard a comprehensive update from Tanmanjeet Singh on the Brexit issue, Amritsar flights, on Slough itself, which is very important as the MP for Slough, and also the Afghani Sikhs, how that's being progressed and assisted by Tanmanjeet Singh. We wish you well, and please do keep us updated of all future progress. And thank you for joining us here at the Sikh Channel HQ.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.